introduce myself. So my name is Janette, for anybody that doesn't know, and behind camera we have Deirdre. Now normally we have our virtual assistant Sinead in the background.
That's me.
Posting all the links, but Sinead is actually off over in Holland this week, so if you follow her on Instagram, Inverdub stands for Inverness Dublin because she lives in Inverness. You'll see amazing photographs of what she's up to over in Holland. She's having an absolute ball, she is. So big welcome to our demonstration this morning, and I'm just going to do something very simple again, like more or less like a garden floral arrangement, something that you can copy easily at home. So first of all, before we start, we need to know who's watching in, where are you watching in from, and obviously give us a breakdown on what the weather forecast is like around the world, because it is fascinating reading through all the comments later, and as you know, we reply to all the comments, even if it is tonight, tomorrow or the following day. And like even this morning, there was somebody from Africa, somebody from New Zealand, somebody from Kent, you know, that way. And normally what I do is I ask everybody to share the video, but especially people that are watching in from worldwide. So what's the weather like in Dublin today? It's dull, it's overcast, it's
warm.
cloudy, it's warm. Deirdre's just after taking off her cardigan, so she's either having a hot flush, she is, or maybe it's a little bit of the May summer weather starting to kind of like creep in. But to be honest, like you wouldn't be in the flip-flops yet. It's definitely not flip-flop weather yet. So who's watching, Deirdre?
Yeah, we have lots of people watching in. We have Colette Keaveney is watching in.
Colette,
Laura Kamal is watching in.
Hey, Laura.
I see our second virtual assistant who is going to be promoted soon. Celine is watching in as well.
Celine, while we're just going through the rest of the comments, will you go and find the link for the free video that I'll be giving away later on today? It's all the new top tips and conditioning. It was posted last night about 7 o'clock on the Case Flower School page. So there's a little job for you. Go off and see, can you find that for us?
Who else is watching? Bridget Fanning is watching.
Hey,
it's Sherry is watching from the UK.
Hey,
she
Sherry.
says the weather is lovely. It's sunny in Birmingham.
Brilliant.
Watching from Washington Town, and where it's sunny and odd share. Ladies, you make it sunny regardless.
Oh, I wish.
So yeah, and do you know this weekend is Mother's Day in America.
Mother's Day in America and in Australia, and
Yeah.
maybe some other parts of the world. So again, anybody that's watching in and it happens to be Mother's Day in your part of the world, let us know, and so we can educate people. So big, I'd say, like again, that girl maybe over in Washington, you're probably up to your eyes in it, you know, that way. And what you're going to find this weekend is that flower prices have went up even for Europe. So even though Ireland and the UK, we have our Mother's Day early March, we're going to find that we're going to be affected with flower prices, because that's the way it goes. The more demand there is and the more shortages there are, and obviously because the Americans and the Australians are going to be
buying up all the
every
feckin' flowers
flower that's out there, they're going to create a shortage, you know, that way. And then us poor Irish florists and the UK florists, we all have to suffer. But the only thing is, we got them all back in March, you know, that sort of way. So we basically played the exact same trick on them in March. We bought up all the flowers for Mother's Day. We created a shortage, and again, the flower prices went up for the Americans.
Celine has found the link.
Fair play to you, Celine. Okay, so today, as I said, I just have a mixture, kind of a combination of flowers. I have a couple of Germany. I have a couple of baby carnations. These are quite blown. I have a couple of large carnations, a couple of orchids, a little bit of Hypericum berry, a couple of leucodendron, bog myrtle, I showed you this last week, ruscus foliage, eucalyptus have this cut up already. And like, we're always being asked about treatment and conditioning of flowers and foliage. And if you follow us on Facebook, you know what I mean, hopefully are, or even over on Instagram, you'll see we're always continuously posting what we call top tip of the day. And most days then a little video comes up, whether it's top tip for treating orchids, top tip for treating carnations, or whatever. So what we decided to do recently was combine all these top tip videos, you know the way. So rather than having them all kind of like spread out, was combining them into basically...
People couldn't find them.
That's what it was, yeah. So basically make a one-stop shop or a one-stop video, do you know that way, where you could find everything. Now we're working on getting it alphabetically, okay? We're not great at the alphabetical part of it, right?
Maybe
so,
Celine might be good at that.
Maybe you could... So line Celine in to do this for us. But we have about 50 videos at the moment, okay? We are trying to get them A, B, C, D, E. So at the moment, they're a little bit all over the place. But as I said, we're working on it. Plus, we're continuously adding to it all the time, right? And this is free. So basically, you can sign up. You can log into it, and you have it basically at your disposal. I think it's a 6 month, is it?
6 months, yeah.
Basically, you have it for 6 months, and it's completely free. And after the 6 months, you can always sign in again if you want to, you know, that way. But like yesterday, I think it was over in the Floristry Coach community group, which I've often talked about, other groups on Facebook. Obviously, the Case Flare group is definitely the best one out there.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But there is lots of brilliant flare groups out there, like all over the world. But like yesterday, I followed quite a lot of them, and I seen a girl, Claire, actually, she might be watching today, Claire Ludlow. She would have been a student. I think she did a module 1 with us a couple of years ago. And she just had up, like, she was after buying viburnum in, and she found it was a little bit shitty looking, very sad looking. She posted a photograph, didn't look great at all. And she was wondering, like, how could she condition it and treat it and basically give it the resurrection and bring it back to life. And I remembered that Deirdre had just posted the viburnum conditioning flare video over on our Instagram page yesterday. So I says, listen, Claire, pop over to Instagram. Deirdre posted that video yesterday, you know. So I was actually read her comments today where she followed the treatment, and lo and behold, the miracle of Lourdes, as we call it, the flowers came back to life and they were absolutely perfect, 100%. So again, what we've done is we've combined all them videos together, and it'll be absolutely brilliant for everybody if you have it then at your fingertips, you know, that way.
And it saves us looking for them too.
Saves us looking. Because if Claire yesterday, only that I remembered, it was on the Instagram page yesterday, which was just pure coincidence, you know. But like lots of people are asking at the moment about peonies and ranunculus, you know, that way. And Lily's trying to get them open in the summertime. Again, that's all covered in that tutorial. So Celine has posted the link. And maybe Celine, you might post it.
And if you're watching on Instagram, it is in the bio. The link is in the bio for it if you're watching. I'm on YouTube. I'll post it in the comments at the end of this. So you can see it there.
So Celine, I know you posted it already, but maybe lots of people are after commenting. So if you maybe post it again. So if you actually look at the comments about now when I'm speaking, you'll actually get the link. All you have to do is click on it. It'll bring you to our where we store all.
Celine is hopping from Instagram to Facebook. She's just brilliant.
She's the best in the world. I told you, we need to give that Janette one, the P45.
That's it.
And take Celine on. So all you have to do is click on that link. That'll bring you to where we store all our online tutorials. You can click, you log in, you basically will have to open up an account, follow the directions, but it's going to cost you nothing. And it'll be on what you call your dashboard. So once you become a student of Case Flare School, which you will when you open up an account there, every time you either get a course for free or you purchase a course, it gets added to your dashboard, and then it's really easy to access it. So what am I going to do today? I better shut up.
Yeah, they'll be giving out you're talking too much.
So this is a container. I've used similar containers here on the demonstrations before. It's like kind of one of them boxes that florists often use for displays, you know, that way in their flower shops. We obviously bought this in the wholesalers, but if you maybe check out like your fruit and veg shop, they could have something similar. So I have lined it with cellophane, so just using our cellophane, and you can get biodegradable cellophane, by the way. So I've just lined, that's just it falling on the floor. I've lined it, and then I just inserted like 2 blocks of floral foam. So the blocks of floral foam are soaked already, do you know what I mean? I have some frog's legs underneath them. I've used frog's legs the other day just to kind of hold it in place, you know, that way. But I'm not actually going to strap anything across it, you know, like anchor tape or wires, which I normally do. I just can't, you'll see yourself, I actually don't think it's going to need it.
Celine says Facebook keeps freezing. That happened last time.
That happened on last Thursday as well. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's causing it at all. Now, I am going to be using a little bit of fresh moss. And again, we're always being asked here about a sustainability arrangement and what could we use instead of foam. So what you could do is you could make moss blocks. Now, some of you are going to say, what's that? So our plan is next week, okay? We are going to come on live one of the days next week and show you actually how to make blocks of floral foam but using moss instead. And if anybody wants to get prepared over the weekend that you could do this with me next week, go out and get yourself some fresh moss. This is dry, okay, but moss is a natural sponge. So once you dunk that down into a bucket of water, it'll take up lots and lots of water. And what you need is about a metre or a yard, whatever part of the world you're in, of chicken wire, okay? And if you could get like the green coated chicken wire rather than the natural kind of like chicken wire, I suppose you'd call it, that goes rusty. If you could get the one with the green coating on it, but obviously that's not going to be very sustainable because there's plastic on it. But
it's something you use over. It's not a single use.
Yeah.
So even though it is sustainable in the sense that it can be used over and over again, it's not compostable.
Yeah.
So little is compostable nowadays anyway. But yeah, like.
So I will show you next week how to do that, and then what you could do is you could use 2 of our moss blocks instead of 2 of our blocks of foam.
Facebook seems to be having a big issue. It's freezing.
Yeah.
It's over on Instagram, it's working perfectly, and it's working on YouTube, I presume. Nobody has commented on YouTube to say it's not working.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with it. I'm after taking one of the phones off the Wi-Fi to see if that would help. But yeah, I don't know why that's happening We'll have to look into that and see what's going on.
Have to check that out. Maybe we could get Celine to check that out.
Yeah. Why are we freezing? Yeah.
Okay, so we've cut up some little sprigs of eucalyptus, and what I'm doing is I'm just working my way around. I'm not working towards the edge of the foam, I'm working kind of inwards on the foam, and the idea is that the foliage is kind of draping or trailing out over the edge of the container. Now again, for anybody in Ireland or the UK, you will find that unless you have the eucalyptus growing yourself, it's nearly impossible to buy in eucalyptus, because obviously it's the growing season with eucalyptus at the moment, so all the growers have obviously stopped cutting the eucalyptus, because otherwise they'd have no eucalyptus to sell to us next year. But if you happen to have eucalyptus growing in your own garden, I have, but you know, mine is up so high now because I've been trimming it as far as I can reach up, which is not the right way to trim your eucalyptus trees, by the way. So mine are now baldy as far as here because I can't reach any higher, you know, that way. And yet up on top there's lots and lots of it. So I just have to get the hubby to get a ladder, you know, that way, and get up a little bit higher.
And I was just watching the Irish Green Guys this morning, and he's planting all new varieties of eucalyptus that in 2 or 3 years time he's going to have those available. They're not going to be available until then, but that's what he's doing today and next week, and he's actually showing the stages of digging the field and planting the eucalyptus. So it'll be interesting to watch.
And he's a fine looking thing as well.
He is a fine looking thing.
So if you wanted to see a fine culchy Irish fella digging a hole in a field in the southwest of Ireland, follow Irish Green Guys. Again, Celine, you might tag him there, you know that way.
Sarah Jane says she's just popped over to YouTube and it's not freezing over there, so happy days.
Okay, so as you can see there, I've just had a little bit of eucalyptus trailing over the edges, and some of them short little bits, I'm just basically inserting them towards the centre, basically kind of crooked, standing up straight, you know the way. So it's very casually filled in, you know the way, it's not filled in completely. So this arrangement will be ideal for somebody that maybe purchases a bunch of flowers, maybe in the supermarket or in their local florist, and you know, you get a little mixture of everything. Or maybe you got a bouquet of flowers as a present and it's being displayed in the vase, you have it there for a couple of days and you'd like to do something different with it. Instead of using this box, by the way, you could use one of our hat box containers, and again, I've done lots of tutorials on our hat box container. So last week I used orchids, and I did say to you, like, orchids last for ages. And I used orchids in an arrangement last week, but I did say to you that behind the scenes we were working on horseshoe, crescent and Hogarth curve wedding bouquets, bridal bouquets, and we actually used orchids as well. And like last Friday morning, we were in work last Friday morning, was going home, and the sample wedding bouquets were still there. We had done the videos the day before, and Deirdre said to me, "Should bring that home." I was after getting kind of a new bit of gravel in the front garden, and she said maybe get a photograph it against the kind of like white gravel. So I did, brought it home, took the photographs, never posted them, but I did take the photographs, I must post them. And I just had the bouquet, and I says, what will I do with it? And I left it literally on the flower bed, you know what I mean, in among the white gravel, just left it there. And Deirdre was down at the house yesterday, and she says, I don't believe it. And I actually, the horseshoe bouquet that I made last Thursday for our online tutorials, okay? So it's a week old today. When I say it is nearly 100%
Yeah, I would say it's
perfect,
95% perfect.
it looked brilliant, and it was left outside. We didn't really have much rain this week. You know,
Oh,
we
it did rain over the weekend, yeah.
Yeah. Where was I at the weekend?
You were in Sligo.
Oh yeah, didn't rain in Sligo. So just when I just say about orchids lasting for ages, they do. They last for ages. Now, obviously, you don't need orchids for this arrangement, but this is what I call the myxomatosis flower arrangement. And again, any of you that have followed us in the past, you know the way you would have heard me using that word before. If it's time afterwards, I'll explain what myxomatosis means. I know some of you are probably saying it's a rabbit disease, you know that way, and it is a rabbit disease, but it was something else. So what I've just done is to one side of the arrangement there, I've just stood up like that. Kind of like you can see where I've cut the orchids a little bit shorter, and this is then the other part of the orchid that was left over, and somewhere else in the arrangement I'm just going to bring that down kind of like pretty low into it. So this is going to be a grouped arrangement, okay, but with lots of textures, lots of different shapes and lots of different shades, okay. Because I've added that one into the back there, it's kind of made it one-sided, but it's going to look nice on both sides, so it's actually not going to have a front and a back. So I have a couple of a darker coloured Germany. Now Germany are a flower, again people say they don't last any length at all. If you treat and you condition them properly, I swear to God you'll get a good week out of them, but you can get up to 10 days out of them. Do you know that way? Now obviously them last 3 days, they wouldn't be at their best, but they can still look quite well. So I have lots of tricks for conditioning Germanies, and again if you follow the free link that's posted in the comments here, Selena's posting it, and again you can look up the treatment and the conditioning of Germanies. So with Germany, when you're inserting them into floral foam, they have got a hollow stem. So normally where I would say cut your stems on an angle, you know, on a 45-degree angle, so they have a nice point to go down into the floral foam. Don't do that with the Germany. Actually cut straight across with them, and that way the stem will go down a lot easier. So that's kind of like a trick with the Germany. So with the Germany, I have one that's a little bit taller. I'm making one a little bit shorter. I'll turn this around in a second. I'm making one even shorter again. And what I've kind of made there is a group. Can you see of the 3 Germany? Each one kind of staggers down a little bit shorter than the other. And just at the opposite side, if you want to call it the back of that group, again, I'm bringing another Germany just down even a little bit lower. So no matter what part of the table or the area that you're viewing this arrangement from, you will be able to see kind of Germany. As I said, it's not necessarily a back or a front. Now, I do also have some Germany in this colour here, kind of like a two-tone, you know the way, kind of bright around the outside. And just over another area of the arrangement, I'm going to do not exactly the same, but something similar. So again, I'm going to do a taller Germany, and then I'm going to bring one down a little bit shorter, kind of underneath it, and then in the front, I'm going to bring another one shorter again down underneath that. So I'm not going to put as many Germany in that shade, and this is what it's looking like so far. Just if I kind of hold it up that way,
just turn it sideways. It's just the orchid. That's it.
There
Yeah,
you go.
perfect.
You can
Yeah.
kind of see what it's looking like so far. So again, you don't need any flower arranging skills here. There's no numbers, there's no points, you know that way. If you basically, as I said, buy a mixed bunch of flowers in the supermarket, in the local florist, more than likely the colours and shades are going to complement each other, because that's what most florists do. And so when they put the colours together, they kind of use colours that are going to complement each other. Now, when we bought in these large carnations, we bought them in that there was a mixture of shades in the bunch, which is unusual, because normally with large carnations they would all be the one colour, you know. So again, I'm just going to pick out this kind of dark, kind of purpley one, which is really, I always kind of call this shade the milk tray chocolate kind of purple, you know the way.
That used to be, that was on trend. Remember about 5 years ago, wasn't it?
So
All the bridesmaids were going with it, yeah.
Brides and bridesmaids, absolutely. So again, what I'm just doing is, again, I'm staggering them down, one a little bit shorter than the other, and I have a group of the dark purple over there. Now again, I have them in other colours, but then I also have our baby carnations. So the proper name for carnations is dianthus. So when we do get our alphabetical list done properly, you know, for conditioning, we will have them listed under baby carnations, but we'll have them listed under dianthus. Now again, I've often talked about Sue Wales' book. I'm not sure if Sue Wales is watching today. This is the Bible, as we call it. We get all our students to buy this book. Maybe if Celine is watching, she might do the @ Sue Wale, and also do the @ Jago Publishing, because that's the name of the company which Sue Wale owns, by the way.
Sue Wale is Sunflower Sue.
Sunflower Sue. And again, this book is alphabetically, so I suppose if we followed the way she did it.
Well, yeah, that would have made sense, wouldn't it?
But the thing is, when you're uploading, sometimes they don't always go up in that sort of system. But people to say to us, like they're looking for baby carnations and they can't find it, you know, that way. And that's probably because they're under dianthus. Dianthus is the right name. Or where I say baby carnations, other florists might say spray carnations. So spray carnations means that you can get 2, 3, or in that case there's 6 heads, you see, on one stem. And when you're buying in carnations, now I'm not knocking supermarkets here, but normally the supermarkets do buy in a lower grade baby carnation, and that's why they're normally a lot cheaper, less expensive, you know, than your local flower shop. But the thing is, when you buy in a lower grade, you naturally get less heads on them. But also, when we're looking for carnations or dianthus for flower arranging, now it wouldn't make an awful lot of difference for what I'm doing today, but I always look for cutting on the stems. And cutting means is that they have, do you see the length of that stem there, or the length of that stem, or the length of that stem? Sorry, dear, I'm holding up too high, right? Where when you buy the supermarket, now there's nothing wrong with the flower, okay? It's a lower grade, but nothing necessarily wrong with it. But you will find that you get 2 or 3 heads, I'm just trying to hide them ones, that you get 2 or 3 heads up the top, and they're on short little stems like them ones are there. But that's all you get on the stem. Do you know that it's just 2 or 3 heads? And the thing is, when you're looking at the bunch of them, wrapped up in the plastic sleeve, all you see is the heads up the top. And unless you actually look through the plastic wrapping, cellophane, or the sleeve that's wrapped around, and this is what you should be looking for, is there cutting on the stems. And if there's no cutting on them, they're probably no good for flower arranging. It's the same with the chrysanthemums that they sell. Again, when we send out chrysanthemums to our students, we send out a higher grade, so there's lots of long stems and, you know, cutting on it, as we call it. Where the supermarkets, the chrysanthemums that you get, all the heads are up the top and they all only have short little stems. So, you know, you're kind of wondering, why are they such a price in the supermarket and why are they more expensive in the florist? You pay for what you get, basically, you know, that way. And if it's for just bunches of flowers, the supermarkets are probably grand because all your heads are just up the top. But if it's for flower arranging, you're probably looking for a little bit of cutting on them, and that's where kind of the higher grade is better. So we do explain a lot of that, you know, in the tutorials on the treatment and the conditioning of flowers.
Selena's on a roll. She has soup whale, and so is I think it's Jackie.
Jackie.
Alchemy Flowers. Yeah, she's working away there as well. There was a question there on YouTube, Janette, earlier on. Is do we the courses that we do they work for artificial flowers, silk flowers as well?
Do you know what? I've had a couple of inquiries lately about that. So we don't actually work with artificial flowers on the module 1, okay? Or on any of the other programs. We do a little bit on module 4, we include a few artificials, right? But basically the fundamentals, the mechanics, you know, the way, and basically all the rules and the principles of artificial flower arranging is exactly the same as fresh flower arranging. So what I've been doing lately, because there's been a lot of people asking that question, or they're booking onto the module 1 and they're saying, well, I prefer to work with artificial flowers. And I say to them, right, okay, sign up to the module 1. We will do the module 1. Like, remember, with our online programs, you have one-to-one, you know, personal tuition with myself, okay? So literally with me personally, I will be on the phone to you Monday to Friday on a one-to-one basis. There's no limit to the amount of time you can spend talking to me teaching you, or sometimes I'll be giving out to you, whatever it might be. Like, that's going to be part of your program. It's included in the price of your course, okay? Plus, even when your course is over, you still have, you know, a certain amount of backup, free backup from us, you know, the way, if you have any questions. So what I've been getting the students to do is, let's go with the module 1, working with the fresh, and let's get through them tutorials, okay? And they normally have that done in the 3-week period. And then I say to them, okay, let me see what you have now in stock. So they take photographs of the artificial material that they have. They send it on to me. It's in a private WhatsApp. Nobody else is looking at this. It's me and you, okay? So they send me on their material, and then I advise them what arrangements they can make. The main substitution is going to be the floral foam. They're going to substitute that for dry floral foam. But everything else is going to be exactly the same. And again, along with, say, evergreen silk plants, you know, Charlie, you know, I'm a great fan of Charlie's, you know, that way. And he would have all the materials that we use in fresh. He actually has in artificials, you know, that way. So their next step would be to copy all the displays that we've done in fresh with them. So there's 10 arrangements we cover with them. And they can then make them in artificial, they can. And again, they can still have that one-to-one feedback, sending on the photographs, me correcting them, giving them critique, giving them feedback, advice or help, and again, them sending it back and forward. So that's worked out really, really well. So you're not the only one.
And Selena's tagging evergreen silk plants.
Absolutely.
She's way ahead of you, Janette. Somebody was saying that they want to book, they've done the module 1 and 2. I can't remember, it was somebody on Instagram, I think, and I had to close my Instagram and restart it again because the sound went on it. What was she asking me? When is the closing date for module 3? That was it.
It's a good week beforehand. So the Tuesday, so starting on the 18th. So Tuesday the 10th, okay? And especially anybody that's looking for the SkillNet funding, okay? Theirs will strictly close on Tuesday the 10th, I think around 12 o'clock in the day. I'm using a bit of Hypericum Berry here, by the way. And so if you want to avail of the funding, which is €225, the best thing to do is send us an email and I can send you on the link. info@flowerschoolireland.com is the email address. And if you book your course through SkillNets, instead of paying us €900, you pay them $675. It's exactly the same course. And all the kits are going in the post next Tuesday and next Wednesday. So the 10th and the 11th, all the kits will go in the post. The UK ones will probably go on the Monday, I'd say.
Yeah, and the American ones.
And anything that's overseas.
I think the New Zealand ones are gone already.
Yeah,
they take them.
Actually. And there's actually 2 of the American ones are gone already because I sent them out as a double. I'll let them see what I've done here so far, you know, that way. So again, you can see where I just have created basically little groups. You see the way with the flowers, just like no particular number. You can see here I just have 2 baby cars, here I have 3 baby cars, here I have 4 Germany, here I only have 3 Germany.
It really is an itsy bitsy sort of...
It's an itsy bitsy teeny weeny polka dot bikini basically, or as we would call it, like a mix of matotas. So I'm now going to add in little bits of our bog myrtle, you know that way, and this is again just to give us little textures kind of coming up through it. As I said, I want this to kind of be more like a winter wonderland or a winter garden or a summer garden, a spring garden, do you know what I mean? More of a garden effect rather than kind of like a formal kind of flower arrangement. And again, like for anybody that's watching, because like not everybody is doing this commercially, lots of people, and that's why we have our Flowery Fun group. And if there's anybody watching there that hasn't actually joined the Flowery Fun group, by the way, it's free. And the Flowery Fun group is open to anybody who loves flowers. So you're not allowed to sell Rolex watches, Viagra, or anything else. What else?
But if you're selling flowers, you can sell flowers in it.
If you're selling flowers, you can. Or anything connected with flowers. Do you remember last week we had Anya Ryan, floral sundries? Actually, she ran a great competition there last week. And again, where you can go, she can advertise over on the Flowery Fun group the materials that he sells. Or Charlie, he advertises what he sells. But again, like people who are just making flower arrangements for pleasure, you know that way, they post their arrangements. We don't allow any feedback or any critique, you know that way. Everybody is wonderful because everybody is doing it for the love of flowers. So it's a little bit different to some of the other groups that are out there. There's some amazing groups out there. So if you are doing
and Celine has put the link up for the Flowery Fun group. She's better than
if you are doing it kind of more from a commercial point of view, there is kind of flower groups out there that you can join where you will get feedback and you will get the critique if you want. Now obviously when you're a student at Case Flower School, we do our feedback and critique on a one-to-one, do you know the way? So nobody else is reading it, and I basically use voice message all the time because I can talk more than I can type, as you can probably realise. And I just kind of find it's the easiest way. I'm just going to add a little bit of ruscus. So I've added a little bit of the bog myrtle kind of going through that, which is kind of picking up like the natural.
It's gorgeous actually. It's absolutely gorgeous.
And this is just ruscus, which again I've talked about ruscus before. I've imported this ruscus. We bought it in from Holland. But Irish Green Guys is planting ruscus, and maybe some of you that are watching could have ruscus maybe growing in your garden. But listen, instead of this, a bit of ivy, you know what I mean, would be ideal. It's just to give me another texture. along with the little bit of eucalyptus.
We have Paula is watching in from Philadelphia, and we have 3 lucky boys. Rose is watching in from Florida. Guys, we I really would appreciate if you shared our page in the States.
Yeah.
We're really trying to spread our wings a little bit.
Especially after winning the American Award of Floral Educator of the Year, we are trying to get the word kind of out there in the States. So maybe Paul and Paula, was it?
Yeah, Paula.
Yeah, you might maybe just click share on this video. I'd really appreciate it.
And Rose is watching in on Instagram. So again, I'd love if you...
Go on, Rose. Go on. Have a cup of tea there, Rose. So what I'm doing is I'm just breaking up our little bits of
And we have Anna's watching in from Adelaide in Australia.
Come on, Anne, there. Once there, click shade there, and click share, and we'll be all over to Adelaide there to visit you. And again, if there's anybody watching there that has a floral business page, and feel free, put your link in the comments there, and again we'll encourage people to go over and follow your page.
Francis just wants to know, could you use privet instead of the ruscus?
Privet would be ideal, absolutely perfect, or the griselinia, or the box hedging, or the little bit of weigela that you have grown in your garden. And you know, like as more of it starts to come into flower, you know, when your escallonia starts to come into flower and you're seeing notices, I see some of the notices in flower.
Yeah, mine is actually very slow this year. And my lilac, because all the lilac is in flower as well, but mine hasn't started flower yet. I think because I keep cutting them back.
So again, you can see I'm just breaking up the moss, and I'm using the moss to kind of like fill in, hide in around just where the cellophane is, and just kind of make a more natural base to do our
beautiful
container.
It's absolutely
so
gorgeous.
There is our mixed garden, mixed summer garden, mixed spring garden, mixed May garden, put whatever name on it. A happy birthday box, happy Valentine's Day box, a bit late for Valentine's Day. I love you box.
I'm sorry.
What's the chances tonight box? Do you get the idea? Anything at all like this will do. It just would make a lovely gift.
Paula said yes, that she has shared it. Sherry says she has a page. What's she saying? Hang on a second.
Sherry Perkins, is it? Yeah, she has a lovely page. Yeah.
She says it's Sherry's Floral Designs. Share it over the Flowery Fun Group, Sherry, because everyone over there is amazing for sharing.
Yeah.
Fiona says, I've just joined the group. Glad to find you as I got blocked from the main florist group as I'm not a qualified florist. Look, we take everybody.
Yep. Tom, Dick and Harry. We take anybody. As I said, no selling Viagra. If you have any Viagra for sale, send us a PM. No selling Rolex watches, you know the way. But anything that's flower related, even if it's pictures of your garden flowers, you know the way, what you're just doing for fun, what you're doing professionally. If you're looking for new followers, like say Cherry there, do you know that way? Absolutely, you're more than willing to share. It is a fun group, so anything that's flower related, absolutely. And as I said, Sinead is over in Holland at the moment. She's taken lots and lots of photographs. She is posting them over on her Instagram page, and her Instagram handle is InverDub, as for Inverness Dublin. So she's a dub who went to Inverness. She's living over there. So if you follow her over on Instagram, you know that way there's some amazing photographs.
Paula's saying that again this weekend is Mother's Day, so
yeah.
And she says that would be a great gift.
This would be an ideal gift for Mother's Day. And again, something that could be just left there, and then as flowers die, you could just pull them out. You could replace it with something else, you know that way. And then keep it like lightly watered. Remember, I have it lined in plastic, but some of these containers I have, a dish would fit down into it. This particular one, I didn't have a dish that fitted. I probably could have used a bull bowl,
a large bull bowl,
but
probably, yeah.
I decided not to. I decided to just line it in the plastic. Again, if you do have any questions, or you're watching this on the replay, put your questions in the posts, in the comments below. I do respond to absolutely everybody, even if it's tomorrow or the next day. Again, just to remind you that we have posted up a free online video, okay, on treatment and conditioning of flowers, and you're all more than welcome to sign up to it. It costs you absolutely feck all, free. It's cost you nothing, and you have access to it for 6 months. At the moment, we have over 50 tutorials, you know what I mean, on the treatment and conditioning of whatever. We just haven't got it all alphabetical, but we're working on that, you know that way. So bear with us. So B could be under Z.
And Annie Oldflower. Oh, that's a great name. Annie in the name. Annie Oldflower. She says she won the prize.
That's Anne-Marie Drury.
All right, she won the prize with a thanks again, Janette and Deirdre. Annie Oldflower.
That's
a brilliant name.
You know what? Like, everybody loves to get something for nothing. We didn't give that away today.
We didn't. No.
But maybe next week when we come on. As I said, I am going to show you how to do the moss blocks next week, okay? So maybe over the weekend, see can you get some moss, see can you get some chicken wire.
And you can forage your moss from your own land. Absolutely no problem. Or your friend's land, as long as you have permission.
Have loads of land.
Yeah, as long as you have permission, you can forage it from your friends and your own land.
Your own fields, your own land, you know that way. the acres of land that you have, you know, that way once you have permission off the farmer.
And if all
no
else
problem at all.
fails, ask your florist or your garden centre. They might be selling bags of it. Yeah.
Okay, we'll love yous and leave yous. Again, just to remind you, Module 1 and Module 3 is starting on the 18th of March. If 18th of May. And anybody has any questions, just drop us an email, info@flowerschoolireland.com. Thanks a million for joining us. Have a fabulous weekend. Happy Mother's Day to everybody in America, Australia, and if there's any other countries out there celebrating Mother's Day, have a wonderful weekend. Goodbye, everybody. Talk to you all very soon.